Hello there, deep divers. Welcome. I'm Lori Marie, founder of the 8th House Mystery School, a space where we come together to explore who we are, why we're here, and how we can live more connected and meaningful lives. Today, I'm sitting with one of our incredible instructors, Kimberlee Nicole Smith, a visionary, guide, master, shamanic energy healer, and storytelling educator. And I'm so excited for you to feel her energy, hear her story, and really get a sense of the depth that she brings to our space. So let's drop in and get to know her. How are you doing today this morning?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. I've just been so excited to have you. Most people watching today are meeting you for the first time. How would you describe yourself a little more than just who you are, but maybe a little deeper at the core?
You know, I actually love this question. I love how you asked it because whenever I am introducing myself on stage in a class, wherever, I always introduce myself with who I be and challenge my audience to do the same. Not roles, not jobs, not education, whatever, who I be. So I am an expansive thinker. I am an atmosphere shifter. I am a status quo disruptor. I am a storyteller, and that's not a role. That's just how I be, and a creative.
I love that. Yeah, you definitely have a creative spirit about you. I always love hearing the story behind the story. Was there a moment or maybe a series of moments that sort of led up to your current spiritual work?
That's interesting. So usually it's a life thing, right? I'll be honest with you. How I got here was I realized on my journey, I grew up Christian. My mom sent me to any church, Christian kind of church that people were going to. She didn't go. So my journey of going to different churches like quenched my curiosity as a kid about learning about what is this? How come everybody's reading the same book, but they're saying something different, right?
Yeah.
But I fell in love with spirit and started my spiritual journey through music, through gospel, through dance. And that's how I started feeling the feelings, you know what I mean? Before I knew what it really was. And then life happened. There was my first love, my college sweetheart. We got married, and during the time that I was like younger, there was situations that was happening, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. Something doesn't seem right. And along the way, we get taught, especially, you know, people of our generation, like, you don't have any proof of that. Disregard, right? And fast forward, we get married 14 years later, and the thing that I thought wasn't right, however many years ago, was the exact thing. Crazy. And I was like, wow, if I would have trusted my intuition, that thing that I heard so many years ago, you know how much heartbreak I would have missed? How many things would have been a little different? But I don't how would you say, I don't regret the time, because I also saw at 19 that I was going to have the life I have now, but with a different person, with a different, I call him today husband. And if I didn't go through the heartbreak and stuff that I went through with my first husband, we're still friends, but if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to love and appreciate the life I have today. But literally, it started there, and it took somebody else to say, that is your gift. Trust it. That's something that you have. I didn't marry that dude either, but you know, whatever. He needed to say the thing. And I have literally since then just trusted it. Just trusted it. It's 99.99999% correct. Everybody in my life knows that. I don't question why or how. I'm just like, it's what it is, and it never fails.
Yeah, I can relate to a lot of what you said. Everything, you know, really does happen to make us who we are in the moment. And, for some of us, we start really early on, and for others, it happens really late, but we go through the life experience we need to get us exactly where we are. And everybody is exactly where they're supposed to be. So
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. So how would you then describe the actual work that you do in a way that feels grounded and accessible?
In a way that, so I'm gonna kick it to you real, friend. Like I'm a I'm a 90s kid, grew up in Brooklyn, New York city. I say I'm an urban hippie, like I'm a total city girl. My family, we are immigrants to this country. I was born in Jamaica. And even though I grew up in the US, I know growing up in our homes as kids, we still practiced our culture where we came from. So what I've been complimented on since, all my academic time is that I'm a practical person. I talk to everyone, regardless of their job, their role, whatever. Like, you're a human, like I'm a human. And as I'm learning things and I'm engaging with people on this really high level, I always bring it back to how human people understand things, right? So grounded happens to be a word that is right, that gets attached to practical. But kind of like when I was going to church too, you go to church and there's an amazing sermon and I'm like, what am I supposed to do with that? That was good, but what does that mean? So I like to share my knowledge, share my journey, share my story to help other people on theirs, but in a way that you don't have to guess what it is, right? You can see, and we can talk through how this applies to your life. And my audience connects with stories, right? People connects with stories. So that's another way to make it practical.
Yeah, transparency is the path to authenticity. And learning that vulnerability comes with transparency and being authentic. And that's really what it boils down to, is that the fear of, allowing something too close is sort of what makes it ungrounded, because there's fear and lack. So yeah, being practical, grounded, authentic, and true to yourself. I love that. So let's go just a little bit deeper then. What do you feel is really happening beneath the surface during your work? Like, what's the deeper layer most people don't always have words for?
I go back to when we're kids, and especially people, I would say of a certain age, our parents teach us what they were taught. They give us only what they have. And like I said before, feelings are something that we don't get all the words for. And we're taught that being emotional is not good. So what I find working with most of my clients is that I ask questions they've never been asked before. I ask questions that go deeper than surface. And I tell my clients, if I ask you a question and you have an immediate answer, I know that's not it. There's something else. Let's take another step. And then we go deeper. And what happens for them is that they find out something about themselves that they didn't know. So everybody is different, their comfort level with going deeper, their comfort level with seeing themselves and being vulnerable in a new way. But everyone has said that I turn on lights for them in rooms they didn't even know existed. And it helps them take the next step forward on their journey. I say the journey of becoming, but a lot of times it's the journey of becoming, but they've come to me because they have a tug on their heart to create something. And as an artist, we know that everything we create is an extension of us. And because I work with people that want to make life livable for other folks and be healthy and have an amazing, abundant life, I'm like, there's something that you experience this life, past life, ancestrally, that has brought that to you. So you have to heal that part of you and get to know it in order to create something healthy, well, from that space.
Absolutely. Yes. people don't realize, because they're too busy avoiding what makes them feel uncomfortable, that they don't realize that if they just, I always use the analogy, you can choose to, bite the bullet and get it done in quick, or you can choose to slowly allow it just to tear you apart from the inside out and live with that underlining layer. But really, the best way to get through life and achieve that which you are asking, why can I not have this? Why is this not happening for me? And why am I not manifesting the things I desire the most? And it's because you're too scared to look at the things that are that are a little bit below the surface. It takes deep diving.
You know what's funny, as you say that, most of my students are midlife or older than me that have been successful in the traditional way of life. And they are now in a space of, there's something else. There's got to be something else. Or they're talking about their next chapter of life. Like, they did the things that you're supposed to do to be successful. I remember I was there too, but I didn't wait till midlife.
They feel an empty spot. You mean like there's something missing?
It's I don't know. It's everybody, they use different words for it. Sometimes it's a tug. Sometimes it's, this used to feel good and right, and now it doesn't. So everybody has a different thing. But at the end of the day, what it is just they are not the same person, or they have achieved the thing in that they were told is success or something like that, but now it's something completely different. So what makes it hard is sometimes you have to unlearn the things that you've learned. Sometimes you have to let go of something that actually served you well previously. Sometimes you got to slow down and not live on the surface and be on automatic, and that drives some folks crazy. So it's a thing. It's a thing.
If someone is feeling called to, the type of work you do, but they're hesitant, what would you want them to know?
I honestly would want them to know it's okay. You will come when it's time for you to come. You'll come when you're ready. You know who I am. You know where to find me. I'm here.
So then tell us, what is it about? So then tell us about the class you're offering inside the 8th House Mystery School. What can people expect, and who is this class for?
Yeah, awesome. So this is basically it. It's practical. It's practical stuff. So what we normally get out in the world is in this world, right? It's about manifestation, all this stuff, kind of like, and I've had conversations about this. I'm like, I'm gonna make a class. So it's about practical manifestation. So it's energetic alignment and practical manifestation. A lot of times why we aren't experiencing life the way we want to experience it, I call it a life by design, is that energetically we are out of whack and we don't even know that, right? And then you can't manifest anything that you want, right? Because we're manifesting all the time, but you can't manifest what you want if you haven't become the version of you that has it. So again, it's kind of like when I'm saying in church, we get all these messages, we listen to all the things, we go to all the classes, and then we're at home like, how am I supposed to do that again? How does that work? Or tragedy happens, something big happens, and the practice that we've been told to do, that we've practiced, we forget this is game time. Now I'm supposed to pull on it. I'm supposed to do what I've been practicing, but the emotions come so challenging, you forget. So that's why I like to teach manifestation. I teach everything practically, but it all comes down to alignment, and like practical manifestation. So it's a lot more that I think people can walk away with. And a lot of times people just don't really trust themselves. And so how do we know that we're on the right track? How do we know, get some clarity in life in general.
So who would be the perfect person? Like, what are people asking themselves in life that you are helping? So like, for example, I'm going through the classes and, you know, your class, it stands out because it says manifestation. Ooh, yeah, that's a word, right?
Mhm.
What should they ask themselves before they read your description to see if that's the class for them?
Yeah. So honestly, I think this helps people in a state of uncertainty, people in a state of like struggle, something is changing in their life, or they just don't feel clear. And it's usually a point where you would um, go and hire somebody else to tell you what to do or get a reading or something else. I'm trying to teach you how to be your own person, how to understand who you are, what's happening, and how you can take the next step forward in confidence, clarity and confidence grounded.
That sounds amazing. You're just basically reminding them who they are, helping them find the path to remember who they are.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Kimberlee, so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us today. You can truly feel the depth that you bring, and I don't think anybody who took your class would be dissatisfied. I think they'd really start to learn a lot about themselves. And for those listening today, if you feel called to connect with Kimberlee and you can find her, just head on over to the 8thHouseMysterySchool.com. Her class is listed there. She's doing 2 separate workshops this summer of the energetic alignment and practical manifestation, both in June and in July. So yeah, is there anything you want to say before we bid our listeners goodbye?
I do actually. This work that we do is very serious, very deep. But I like to have fun. Fun is my number one passion. Possibilities, creativity, and innovation. So I'm not the minister that you probably will cry while we're doing the stuff. We gonna giggle, we gonna laugh, we gonna turn up, we gonna have fun. So I want to make sure that that's in there. We're gonna get the message, but we're gonna enjoy ourselves doing it.
That's what it takes. Thank you again, Kimberlee. And I look forward to your class this summer.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.